Yeah, he's not a guy who's going to blaze winners off the return, but I think he gets a lot of balls back into play. So I think it's effective for what he wants it to do, which is to really get the point started.
Yeah, and push it deep and then start the point. There.
50.
That one just happened to fall right in.
Yeah.
I look at a player like Greg Ruzetsky, and I think, if Ruzetsky could return as consistently as Rafter, I think he'd win more matches. And even though Rafter doesn't hit, Andre Agassi bullets, he's getting the ball into play. And you see we've reached an hour pretty much to finish the one set. It's a nice play from Rafter there. Caught Lapentti leaning to the backhand. And this is a good chance here. Remember, he's got the first set in his bag. Now a chance to break in this opening game.
Good idea, but wrong weight of shot. He was lobbing all his best lobs right at the beginning.
The perfect start for Rafter. I mean, that is what you want to do when you get the chance. Build the pressure, build the advantage. And again, not a great game for Lapentti. He stopped serving and volleying. And he's been playing a few mishits, too, that have been landing short, and Rafter has been all over those. I mean, he likes those short ones in the service box.
Yep. Wrong decision by Rafter, I think. Maybe Rafter's better at soccer than Lapentti. Too much side spin, a bit too clever there, Rafter.
That's a bit better there.
15-13.
Watch how high this serve bounces off the court. Lapentti having to play that up around his shoulders, bounding away from him. Tough to bring that ball back down.
He's picking these second shots off very well now, Rafter, because he's serving better. Fastest serve is still 114, but there's an awful lot of work on each serve.
40-30.
And I sense a bit of depression in Lapentti's demeanor.
Yeah, I think you're right. It's always interesting to watch Rafter. You talked about his pace on that first serve. Again, reminiscent a little bit of Stefan Edberg. You know, not the big serve with lots of flat power, But again, it triggers this chain of events. You know, the great first volley and the second volley and the beautiful movement. And that is how Edberg played, and that is how Rafter now consolidates the break.
Good play.
I mean, you know, I enjoy watching Rafter play because he's so fluid. You know, he gets in behind that serve, and his movement to the volleys are so natural. You know, Pete Sampras has won 7 Wimbledons, but he doesn't play that same fluid kind of serve and volley game. It's a little different, you know. It's not quite as natural as an Edberg or a Rafter or a Henman even. And the other thing about Rafter I like is he's got this hint of power about him. I practiced with him in Bermuda once, and I mean, you're talking about one strong guy. I mean, he can really power the ball, but you don't really notice it.
Yes, well played. Neat little volley.
Yeah, he's such a great athlete, Rafter. Yet the shots he hit aren't necessarily penetrating with power, but they're played with very powerful spin. You know, when the ball hits your racket, you feel it moving on the strings.
You call it a heavy ball?
Yeah, I would, and particularly when he hits an underspin approach or a topspin forehand. You know, you feel the weight of his shot because he is a powerful man.
No, that's missing. I once asked Roger Taylor about playing Borg, and what's the main thing about it? And he said the ball is so heavy when it comes from Borg, and it doesn't appear to be a very heavy ball, but when it hits your racket, it is. Well, that's just careless. Lapentti at his stage of this match cannot afford that sort of error. Unforced errors 12 for Lapentti, 9 for Rafter.
Well, this is a real crisis now for Lapentti. I mean, he's already down a break. And that double fault is going to give Rafter a chance to build on this lead.
If he loses this point, I sense a deep depression forming over Ecuador. Another careless error, and the insurance break is Rafter's. He leads by 3 games.
Rafter leads.
3 games to love, and 2 of them are breaks.
Time.
Absolutely packed stadium, this. Well, when I say absolutely, there are a few small gaps, but it's fuller than it's been any night, I think. And no doubt it's the lovely fine night, the fact that everybody's on holiday, and the fact that there are no other matches going on at the moment, Leaf, around here. There usually are.
It's the only show in town.
And it's a good show. And Rafter's putting on, there we are, big Australian support, the old inflatable kangaroos.
It's interesting to see how Rafter has really wrestled this match away from lapentti. I mean, the Ecuadorian was playing great tennis early on, and Rafter has just sprinted past him. His level of play has risen, and lapentti just has not responded. You know, he just hasn't been able to stay with him.
30.
That's a great slice serve to the forehand. 40 love. And there's 3 points for a 4-love lead. Terrific returns. Wonderful timing. Four love it is.
Rafter leads 4 minutes to love.
Oh, sensational volley. On the jump, really, on the reach. Terrific.
Love 15.
And these kinds of volleys really, you know, say a lot about how good you are at the net. And that pretty much says it all. That was a brilliant stretch. Look at that. He's able to get just that little flick of the racket right at the end.
That's well played. I don't think I know any other player who returns serve like Rafter. Just a complete block, really, isn't it?
And I think, you know, tonight he's made his mind that he can just get the ball into play, and lapentti hasn't really taken advantage of that. And maybe lapentti needs to serve and volley so he can cut off some of those floating balls. Don't allow Rafter just to bunt it back. Make him take some swings at your serve. It's like a chess match out here, and lapentti hasn't adjusted. He just hasn't made the right moves at the right times.
He's enjoying the challenge, isn't he, of diving for these volleys, Rafter? He's beginning really to enjoy himself. Firmly in control of this match at the moment. Even if he does look a bit puffed and hot.